emotional learning, that reflection. Reflection, I think, is a huge piece which plays into these other things down here, but that passion-driven learning, like students running their own learning because they're passionate about it and taking it in that flow sense. Play would be a big piece to that, because that's undesigned. That's something you just do. Like as adults, we play all the time, but we're not really allowing students to within the classroom. And just that responsiveness and that authentic, organic learning students have, which then falls into like things they'd gain as human beings, would be that sense of agency, that self-advocacy, that self-determination, those communication skills, that growth mindset, because we're not designing the learning for them. We're not designing their path. They're taking it. Like, does that make sense? Like, that was like my big breakthrough for today. And it stemmed from the modeling and that article. And then like we talked a little bit about creativity yesterday, and like all these things that contribute to things being so systematic, she kept saying. So, which also made me think of the routines too, and like one student in particular, which is why I said the routines. But when I think about his path and his journey, when I did provide him that routine at the beginning of the school year, it did make him seem like he was compliant, because he wasn't screaming anymore, he wasn't disrupting the classroom. But as the year went on, and like we weren't making him or like controlling the schedule for him and providing it for him every day and showing him what's coming up, he found a way on his own to create his own schedule by using the classroom schedule in his assignment notebook. And every morning you'd watch him walk into the classroom with his assignment notebook, look up, like talk to himself, scribble something down, and at the end of the day the same thing, to remind himself that everything he did that day. But that wasn't, I don't even know where he came up with that, but I think that brings up a good point with that modeling and that actual need for it. He needed it, but he discovered that on his own, and he found his own way of using it.
So, synthesize your new thinking, because this is you're going to use for what? What are you going to use this for? Your 316 portfolio. You're welcome. It's going to be a nice artifact.
Synthesize my thinking. Oh,
yeah. So your old thinking to your new thinking in the span of 24 hours.
My old thinking from my new thinking. I think in the big picture of my old, like I always felt very passionate about personalized learning and about play and all those pieces. But I think from the last 3 days and really thinking more in depth about kids I've worked with this past year and how I did standardize them, like they needed this. I feel like I know my students, but that's also my perspective on things. I'm not taking their perspective, so I lost my train of thought. So really, it's just that teacher taking that full step back again. So like even releasing more of that control piece, which I didn't know I had, but apparently I did. So like just really letting go even more.